In most K-dramas, we're used to seeing events happen to characters. Big confessions, business empires falling, last-minute rescues. Yumi Cells, by contrast, quietly rewrites that formula. It turns every hesitation into a scene and every feeling into a visible character. You are not just watching what Yumi does, you're watching why she almost didn't do it. And that shift alone changes how you experience even the smallest moments, because the focus moves away from outcome and toward process. For example, instead of silently overthinking whether to send a text, Yumi's anxiety cell, pride cell, and others burst into the shot and argue it out. The result is that a simple moment becomes a full-blown mini-drama where multiple emotions compete before a decision is even made. When the writers first pitched this, even fans were skeptical, unsure if live action and animation could work together, but it works because the cells aren't just a gimmick. They are the emotional core of every scene, actively shaping decisions rather than simply reacting to them. And that becomes the first secret: visualizing emotion. Instead of voiceover or subtle acting alone, the show externalizes inner life. Her love cell falls into a coma after a breakup. Her reason cell tries to calm rage. What could feel abstract suddenly becomes structured, visible, and easy to follow. The inner struggle isn't implied. It's constantly unfolding in front of you, which makes even quiet moments feel layered and active. This leads to the second factor: clarity of emotional mechanics. By showing how Yumi's cells debate, interrupt, and override each other, the show makes it easy to understand why she behaves the way she does. You don't just see her freeze on a date or break down, you see the chain reaction behind it, the exact moment where logic loses to emotion or where doubt takes control. It almost feels like learning the language of your own emotions, where hesitation, overthinking, and impulsive reactions are no longer confusing but recognizable patterns that you've experienced yourself. At the same time, Yumi Cells stands out for its female point of view and everyday simplicity. Yumi starts as an ordinary office worker and evolves into a successful writer in later seasons. But even with that growth, the story avoids grand destiny or exaggerated stakes, choosing instead to stay rooted in everyday life and internal struggles. The story stays grounded in routine, awkward moments, and small emotional shifts that most dramas would skip. And that simplicity becomes its strength because it feels specific and real rather than exaggerated. It's not escapism. It's reflection where even the most ordinary situations carry emotional weight. This connects to the fourth point: complex characters without extra plot lines. The show doesn't rely on dramatic twists to stay engaging. Yumi is indecisive, vulnerable, inconsistent, and sometimes frustrating, and the story allows that complexity to exist without forcing resolution. Her relationships don't fall apart because of shocking betrayals, but because of timing, miscommunication, and emotional gaps. Things that feel real and uncomfortably accurate, making the story feel grounded rather than constructed. Finally, the narrative is built for longevity. Instead of escalating stakes, the show relies on perspective. As long as Yumi continues to think, feel, and grow, the story can continue without feeling forced. That's why it sustains across seasons, not through bigger drama, but through deeper understanding where the focus remains on internal evolution rather than external escalation. When you step back, all 5 reasons form a clear pattern. The show makes us see emotions, understand them, relate to them, and actually feel them without distraction. Instead of asking what will happen, it quietly asks, why is this happening? And that shift is what makes the experience feel both different and deeply familiar at the same time. In short, Yumi Cells works not because of spectacle, but because it reflects how we actually think and feel. By bringing internal conflict to the surface, it redefines what relatability looks like without needing exaggeration or artificial drama. So here's the real question. When you watch Yumi Cells, are you more drawn to what happens next, or to everything happening underneath it?